Hello, my name is Kane Mani and I'm Africa's biggest tech entrepreneur. So in my previous videos, I spoke to you about my upbringing, where I was raised, how I got into tech entrepreneurship. Then I also spoke to you about my vision, how I'm aiming at solving Africa's biggest problems and advancing the cause of humanity. Now, in this video, I want to share with you what I'm building to facilitate this vision and all to help bring the fivefold vision into reality. Now, the fivefold vision, they are electrification, techification, industrialization, emancipation, and documentation. Now, these fivefold vision, I'm currently building things in two of them, which is electrification and techification. So I'll be sharing with you what I'm building in the electrification space, what problem I'm solving in that space, and what I'm achieving. And also I'll talk to you about what I'm building in techification, what problem I'm trying to solve in that space. So we are starting with electrification. So one of the biggest problems on the African continent is power. When I say power, what I mean by it is electricity. Africa is the second sunniest continent in the world, but is the least electrified continent in the world. And this is a problem I've been thinking about for a very long time as to why, with the abundance of sunlight we have, we still struggle to have access to basic electricity. And what I've noticed is that the electricity that is produced on the African continent uses old technology, which is the hydrothermal technology, to produce electricity for us. Now, I'm currently building a whole new type of technology that won't rely on hydrothermal and produce electricity that is scalable to every home on the African continent. Now, I thought about how we have to solve this problem and looked at the things we have around us as Africans and how we'll be able to solve this problem so that the next generation doesn't come in also face the issue of the power crisis. So currently, I'm building a solar-powered technology that would enable distribution of electricity powered by solar all across the continent and trickling down to every home and enabling people to consume this power at any point in time, anywhere, inexpensively. So for us to achieve this, what I thought of in doing the talking, we have the problem of Africa not having access to electricity. That is established. Now, what do we have to do to achieve this? We already have a solar stack. People already are using the current solar models and all of that. If Africa has all this sun power and there is already solar, which is not something new, why are we not adopting the solar technology to enable everybody have access to power? Then I came, like with this research, I found a lot of things that is causing this problem to exist. One, solar is very expensive. Two, the current batteries, which are supposed to store the power when there is no sunshine, don't last long. What that means is that we need to have like long-lasting batteries in case there's no sunlight, which is a possibility. The consumption or the absorption of the sunlight by the current panels are not as effective, so they don't retain a lot of the power. Also, it is expensive. That's why there's no mass adoption. So what I am building is a 3-tier model. The first one is redefining the entire solar technology stack, which is redefining the panels we have, redefining the batteries we have, redefining the distribution, redefining the price point, and redefining the means of consumption by the last mile customer. Now, if we redefine all of this, what I mean is that we have to distribute it to enable people to consume it. So one of my companies I've created, which I will speak extensively about in my next video, is actively working on building this. Now, for us to achieve this, there is a 5-stage process that we need to follow through to achieve that. And there are high technological breakthroughs that we need to achieve to enable us achieve this. So what we have to do is to build things that don't exist, redefine things that don't exist, to enable us have like all these compressed in one module that we can distribute at commercial value to keep us innovating on this technology and solving that problem. Now, if we are able to achieve this, because there is sunlight all the time, we're able to cut off the traditional means of accessing electricity. And through that, everybody would have a means of having reliable, affordable, and accessible electricity in their homes. Now, if we're able to achieve building these modules and making sure everybody on the African continent have access to reliable, affordable electricity, we've fixed the basic electrification need on African continent. Because and why this problem bugs me that much, or why this problem is a big problem, and why we spend a lot of time trying to reinvent and redefine all these, is that Africa has 1.2, 1.3 billion people on the continent. Out of that, 600 million people on the continent don't have access to electricity. The other 600 that have access to electricity don't have access to reliable, stable electricity. And to me, it doesn't make sense that if we have all the sunlight, why can't we achieve this? Why can't we make us a continent where there is reliable, affordable electricity? And that is why my first goal on solving the electrification stack for African continent is solving Africa's energy crisis, building technologies that take away the inability of people not accessing electricity. And that is the first thing that I'm building. So currently, the stage that I am with building our solar powered technology is the battery technology. Is to rebuild an entire new battery that lasts longer than the current lithium batteries that are being used in current solar deployments. Because if you don't have a long-lasting battery that can last for a defined period of time, when there is no sunlight, the logic of having stable electricity isn't there. So currently, our focus and the research and the things we are building is purely towards redefining the battery in the solar stack. And that is where we are currently. But the entire stack has been defined already. The distribution has been defined already. The price point is defined already. How the consumers would consume it has been defined already. And we are building this to take away the pain of not having access to electricity on the African continent. Once you're able to achieve this, we form the bedrock of everything built on top. Because now we can move Africa to a carbon zero continent by building our own electric vehicles distributed amongst our community But because there is reliable and stable electricity, it powers it all. And now we're able to have high growth in adoption and consumption on our continents. So the first key of solving this and what I'm building is solving Africa's energy crisis, making sure that there is reliable, accessible, affordable electricity in every home on the African continent, and that we never have to deal with lights out or power outages on the African continent forever. So the other part of what I'm building currently is in a space of techification. Now with that, so what I'm doing is working towards increasing tech adoption on the African continent. Now, if you look at the African continent, I think 1/3 of the African continent are tech savvy, or basically like have access to internet to enable them do things on the internet. But tech adoption basically means that everything you do has to be tech focused. So like you do about 90% of everything in your life backed by tech. Now for us to have this mass adoption of tech, there are 3 areas that I am creating products and creating platforms to enable this. The first one is I'm currently working on an all-tech digital TV network. So what that means is that for a traditional television station, they may produce a variety of programs. Some are focused on politics, some focused on news, some focused on sports. But I'm creating a technology-only and a tech-focused digital television network that would be focused exclusively on tech. So morning shows are on tech, afternoon programs are on tech, evening programs are on tech, events are on tech. Every single thing that they do are on tech. And the reason for this is to enable us to penetrate into the homes and the minds of the masses and sell them the value and the reason why adopting tech or making tech your way of life is very, very important. At the back of this is an event I started about almost 10 years ago, which we paused and we are bringing it back again, called A Day in Tech. So A Day in Tech is a monthly technology development seminar where people with interest to learn about tech, to adopt tech and to know about tech come every month to be inspired to do tech or to get things done regards to tech. Now, for us to make sure that everybody who watches our digital television network and is inspired to love tech gets a place where they're able to consume tech or to connect with things that would increase their tech adoption or let them understand or accept tech as their way of life, we need to have a medium to achieve that. And that medium is A Day in Tech, which is the monthly technology development seminar. Now, I'm currently also working on an end of year or a once in a year summit, tech summit called the Kane Mani Tech Summit, where a lot of tech enthusiasts, tech entrepreneurs, tech sympathizers, lovers of tech, who want to understand tech, gather and come together in that space to to know more about tech and to increase their love or be inspired to make sure that their lives are built around tech. Now, these platforms have a simple goal, and the goal is to enable tech adoption. So if I'm watching the tech TV network and and say I had no interest in tech or I have interest in tech, that feeds my interest for those who have interest in tech, and that also opens the eyes of those who are not aware of the importance or the relevance of tech that should be in their everyday lives. So creating these platforms from TDN, which is the Tech Digital TV station, and also A Day in Tech, which is a monthly tech development seminar, then the Kane Mani Tech Summit. These give people the platform to connect, to really be in a position where their love for tech or the reason why tech should be the way of life is well told. Yes. So in case like A Day in Tech, which is a nationwide event when we're doing it back in 10 years, we are bringing it to the doorstep of everybody, where we'll have Hood A Day in Tech. So people in say in Accra, East Legon will have the event. People in Dansama have the event. People in Osu have the event. So you can walk into any A Day in Tech events on the last Saturday of every month and have access to tech all available to you. So these three things, which is the media, A Day in Tech, and the Kane Mani Tech Summit, sets you up for this. Now, in Electrification as well, too, I'm building products that these people who are loving tech and want to adapt to tech would be able to consume. So currently, there are 3 key products that are being built. The first is a gaming product called Gudu Games. And the idea is to put gaming in the hands of everyone, to democratize gaming, because when people love tech, game is a big part of tech, they want to consume that. So Gudu is building games people love, games everyone can enjoy, games that are entertaining and rewarding, and enabling everyone to have a deeper love for games across the continent. Also, we are building a product called Dodo, which is an enterprise communication platform, making sure companies increase productivity, safeguard their documents, like make sure that workplace communication, which is a big deal, is safe and productive. Then we also building a student financial services platform that enables students to save money and also increase their financial literacy. So once we are enabling people to accept and adopt the tech through the media platform, through A Day in Tech, where they come at the end of every month, or through attending the Kane Mani Tech Summit, they also have the tools that they'll be able to also use to be able to increase their tech adoption. And with pertaining to the tools, these are a few things that my team and I are building. all obviously solve different problems, and they all are separate companies achieving or trying to achieve separate things, but they all form a big part and the umbrella of the vision, which is like making sure that Africa is techified, making sure that Africa, we accelerate the transition of Africa to a tech-first continent. So it is important that we achieve this. It's important that we get this done. So there are two areas for techification is currently in progress, and in my next video, when I tell about what my companies are building, I'll go into detail on what the games are, what TDN is, what Daintech, what the same financial platform is, and you get to understand all of that and what all these companies are building and why, and it's important they build them, and how all of them are geared towards the fivefold vision, which is techification, electrification, industrialization, emancipation, and documentation. In my next video, there are 5 companies that I am involved in that are actively building all of these things out to have commercial value, to have mass adoption, and to bring it to mass markets. The first being Origin, the second being Gudu Studios, the third being Dodo Technologies, the fourth being TDC, the fifth being Students. So once you get to understand what all these companies are doing, and once you understand the bigger picture and how all of them are subsets of the bigger picture, you will get to understand our journey, our path, and why it's important to build these, and why we are building the most important companies to solve Africa's biggest problems and advance the cause of humanity. So stay with me in my next video so I detail you about what these 5 companies are building, the current stages that each are, and where they are going next with what they're currently executing. My name is Kane Mani. I'm Africa's biggest tech entrepreneur, and thank you. I'll see you in my next video.